Chelsea have just signed Jadon Sancho. The deal with Victor Osimhen also collapsed. But the question is, why did Chelsea have to sign Jadon Sancho? Is Jadon Sancho fitting Enzo Maresca's system? And the departure of Raheem Sterling, how does that affect Chelsea? Now, join us today in our tactical analysis video, where we're going to tactically analyze and scrutinize Jadon Sancho. And we are going to explain to you why I believe that Chelsea have made the right decision in bringing Jadon Sancho back at Chelsea. Now, let's try and see why this player is so important for Chelsea. So, Chelsea are bringing in a player who has really had a rough time at Manchester United, with the Ten Hag situation actually becoming a very difficult situation for Jadon Sancho to actually gamble with. Jadon Sancho was one of the players who Chelsea really wanted to sign under manager Frank Lampard. Jadon Sancho is also a player who has come out to actually declare himself that he was once a huge Chelsea fan, and is a player who's coming into Chelsea to play in the wing position. So we are going to try and look at what does Enzo Maresca expect from his wingers? What is this tactic that Enzo Maresca wants his wingers to do? Why did Enzo Maresca fall out of favor with Raheem Sterling, and he's looking like he's actually falling out of favor with a player like such as Mikhailo Mudryk? That is what we are going to try and understand. And we are going to try and understand why Chelsea had to bring in Jadon Sancho. A lot of fans are like, we don't need this player. A lot of fans are like, why are we even bringing Jadon Sancho? But remember, the last time we had actually a deadline day signing is when we signed Cole Palmer. So we are actually bringing in the Manchester City academy system back to Chelsea by bringing in Jadon Sancho, having Cole Palmer, Tosin, Romeo Lavia, and other players who will be looking to sign. But before we even start our analysis, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. And I want to actually give you my analysis on this signing. So please stay in touch with me and be able to understand why Chelsea are actually having to make this signing, why this signing is so important for Chelsea, and how Chelsea are actually going to improve and go on to the other level. Now, let's look at our tactical board and understand this tactically. So Enzo Maresca wants his team to play wants his front three to start high and wide. And the main reason of starting high and wide is to ensure that he has a wider front three. Now, majority of the teams want their wingers and their striker to play close to each other, but that is not something that Enzo Maresca is keen on. Enzo Maresca wants his wingers to start out wide, and the reason why he wants them to start out wide is so that they can be able to stretch the defense. Now, they're stretching the defense in two ways: stretching the defense to fall back by having the striker and the front three playing high, and the other way they want to stretch the team is having the defense drop deep in this kind of fashion. And once the defense drops deep, they are able to also stretch the defense wide because of the position of the wingers. Because of this structure of having the defense also spread out wide because of the position of the wingers, what you end up with is a defense that is low and a defense that is stretched. Now, this is one benefit of having this defense that is low and a defense that is stretched, is because now you are able to create these spaces in between the fullback and the center back, that is known as the half space positions. Now, these half space positions are very vital for Enzo Maresca, in that these are the spaces where he's able to actually play his teams, play his two attacking midfielders in those positions. Those are the positions where you're going to have the Nkunkus, the Palmers, and Joao Felix looking to occupy. Now, once that happens, what you realize is now Chelsea are able to create that front five with also another fullback joining in and inverting into midfield, so that Chelsea can acquire the 3-5 structure that Enzo Maresca actually wants them to occupy. Now, this 3-5 structure is a very important structure, in that it dictates how Chelsea want to play by dominating both the midfield and the wide areas. But we are talking about the wingers. And why did Enzo Maresca had to discard Raheem Sterling and actually prefer bringing in another winger into the team? That is what we want to try and check. Now, Mykhailo Mudryk, who has been starting as Chelsea's left winger, has been tasked with the role of dropping deep to receive the ball directly from the wide centre back. And in this case, the winger should receive, Mudryk receives the ball when he's looking to immediately cut in. He receives the ball in an inner version. So once Mudryk receives this ball in an inner version, what happens is that he loses the ball and he actually creates some form of congestion with Enzo Fernandez in that half space area. And because Mudryk creates this kind of congestion in this area, this is not something that Enzo Maresca wants. Enzo Maresca wants his wingers to actually stay out wide and look to receive the ball from the wide areas. He wants the ball to be played to the winger in the wide areas, and he wants the winger to receive the ball in that wide area. He does not want the winger to receive the ball in field because he will actually be occupying the space that is supposed to be occupied by the midfielder who's occupying the left half space. And in that reason, we now notice that the reason why he wants this is because he wants the opposition fullback to commit to try and cover his winger. And once the opposition fullback commits to try and cover his winger, then his winger can draw the fullback out of position and create space in that half space. The half space is very crucial for Enzo Maresca because it is a position where he can have his team score or attempt a shot on target. And once the space has been opened in the half space region, the winger can play the ball onto the attacking midfielder in this position. And once the ball is played to the attacking midfielder in this position, the attacking midfielder can receive it. And that is one way in which he wants to control the ball. But what we've realized is that if the fullback decides to stay back, then it is a problem because now the winger will have space to run. But what we've had with Mykhailo Mudryk is that when he receives the ball in this position here, he does not look to try and actually receive the ball outwards. He looks to try and receive the ball and move inside. And that is something that is undesirable to Maresca. Maresca wants his winger to receive the ball and move towards the touchline so that he can stretch the backline. But because Mykhailo Mudryk receives the ball and Raheem Sterling also, they receive the ball and they immediately look to cut it in. What you realize is that they narrow the opposition defense. So now the opposition defense is narrow, meaning that the spaces and the gaps in between the defense line are not there. And this might actually make it difficult for Chelsea to access zone 14. But Enzo Maresca wants his most creative and his most dangerous players to occupy that zone 14. That's the reason why Cole Palmer is more likely to thrive when he plays in that inside position. And because of this reason, that is why he has been very, very angry with Mykhailo Mudryk, and is actually the reason why he had to discard Raheem Sterling in that setup. And because because Mykhailo Mudryk also moves in this inward position and he loses the ball a lot of time, this has placed Enzo Maresca in a difficult situation because now Chelsea have been put in a situation where once they lose the ball, the opposition is ready to counter them and destroy them. And this is why, because of that space and that because of Mudryk's constant loss of the ball when he tries to make runs inside, is the reason why Mykhailo Mudryk has lost a lot of favor with Maresca. His touch toward infield is actually creating problems for Chelsea because it limits the player who's supposed to occupy the half space to make that run and occupy that position, and it also makes him to lose the ball time and time again. And because this happens, you realize that because Mudryk is unable to, Maresca wants Mudryk to receive the ball and look to attack the touchline. Him being unable to do that puts even more pressure and more problems for Enzo Maresca. Now compare that to the right-hand side. Now the right-hand side is much better because Noni Madueke receives the ball, and Noni Madueke is a traditional winger. And because of Mykhailo Mudryk's inability to receive the ball and hug the touchline so that he can stretch the opposition backline, he has lost his position, and in comes Pedro Neto. Now, Pedro Neto is a left-footed player, and playing down the left, he automatically is more inclined to play towards the wide areas where it is actually stronger on his stronger right foot, on his stronger left foot. And because we saw in the second half against Wolves how Neto managed to stretch Wolves towards the left and actually opened a lot of spaces down the right for Cole Palmer, is the reason why Enzo Maresca prefers Pedro Neto. But we have one huge problem with Pedro Neto in this position. And because we realized that against Wolves, Chelsea were able to create this overload down the left by having a left footer hold the ball and hug the touchline in this position, drawing the opposition's defense line towards the left, what we realized is that now, because the opposition were being dragged towards the left, then spaces started to open up in zone 14, and the backline started to drop deeper, and the backline started to drop towards that player. And we started to see Pedro Neto being able to actually make those crosses, and that is how he managed to make a sublime cross to Joao Felix, who managed to score the goal. And because of this situation and these circumstances, we also noticed how he's able to even shuttle the ball towards Cole Palmer. And because Pedro Neto's left wing position is very crucial and the wing areas is very crucial, it is the reason why Enzo Maresca wants an out-and-out winger. Now, Mikhailo Mudryk can play in a slight, if he is playing in a system where the wide players are cutting in, then he's luckier if he has an overlapping fullback. But remember, Chilwell is not there. So Mikhailo Mudryk, the winger, is the one who's supposed to give the team width, but he's unable to do that. But when you compare it to the right-hand side where Noni Madueke is, Noni Madueke, being a left-footer, naturally does not cut in field. But rather what we noticed, and I also talked about last season, is that Noni Madueke likes to receive the ball and run towards the byline. Now, because Noni Madueke runs towards the byline, and you even had Enzo Maresca saying that that is the type of winger he wants, this actually gives Noni Madueke even more strength because he's able to pull a fullback out of position. Once he pulls a fullback out of position, he's able to open and create spaces in that right wing half space region and actually look to play the ball onto Cole Palmer. Now, Cole Palmer is able to receive this ball and immediately look to create or attempt a shot on goal. And this makes Chelsea even more dangerous in these kind of situations. Now, because we have understood what Enzo Maresca wants with his winger, let's look at the left wing now. Let's look at Jadon Sancho. So what does Jadon Sancho actually give to Enzo Maresca? Now, Jadon Sancho in this position is a player who will come in and start down the left. But one thing I like about Jadon Sancho is a player who likes to receive the ball wide, and he's a player who likes to receive the ball wide and look to run at his fullback. Now, because this is something that is very important, because the way Jadon Sancho dribbles is different from the way other wingers dribble. He dribbles similar to how Noni Madueke actually dribbles. So how does Jadon Sancho dribble? Now, Jadon Sancho looks to try and dribble towards the touchline. He looks to try and dribble towards the touchline. So you're going to see him receive the ball, look to try and make a run towards this position in the touchline. Then once he receives the ball in this position towards the touchline, he will try to draw the opposition's defenders towards that side and look to make cutbacks. And even sometimes, when you look at the number of goals he has scored the goal from those positions. And because he will be looking to start in these wide regions, he will automatically give players like Marc Cucurella the chance to receive the ball. He's also a player who's not afraid to drop deep, receive the ball directly from the wide centre back and look to receive the ball with his back towards the touchline. And because he's so good at dribbling, he's able to actually manipulate the ball in tight spaces, making him dangerous, making him to be very lethal when he receives the ball. And his ability to dribble past the opposition players is something that can also give Chelsea a lot of strength. Another thing that we need to understand with Jadon Sancho is that he will be really required by the team when the team is defending, by looking to hold his position in a slightly withdrawn position, deep during when Chelsea are looking to press, or sit in a more in a way that they are trying to actually press the opponent by dropping into midfield together with Noni Madueke and positioning themselves in areas where they can easily spring out and look to press the opposition fullback when the ball is played towards the fullback. So he should be ready to move into this position so that he can press the fullback. Now, that is one way that we expect Jadon Sancho to actually look to help Chelsea. Now, because Jadon Sancho is coming to Chelsea, I'm not saying that he's coming in to actually solve all problems that Chelsea are actually facing. No. Jadon Sancho is coming to Chelsea to try and rebuild his career. He has lost favor with Erik ten Hag, and hopefully at Chelsea he's able to cultivate discipline, because he's going to find that the team is very disciplined under Enzo Maresca, and probably we can see the best of him. As I have told you, you can see he dribbles towards the touchline. He does not dribble in field. So he dribbles somehow like Noni Madueke. And because of his dribbling ability towards the touchline, he'll be able to help Chelsea stretch the opposition defense, create situations where this can actually benefit Chelsea, and hopefully he can be a player who can take Chelsea on to the next level. I really appreciate your help in this kind of fashion, and I'm sorry that I didn't have time to actually work on the video the way I want to work on it. It's because I've had a problem with my tactical board issue, so I had to do this video like this, because I knew this video is a video that is really needed. So apologies on that. We'll be back to doing our videos the way we usually do it. Thank you for watching, and thank you for staying with us. Leave your comments in the comment section area below, and thanks for watching.